Hi everybody, starting day 22, mile intention 22 today. Today is for Ruthie and Eddie Walker. They are my very, very, very dear friends. They are not related by blood, but I think somewhere in a past life we've probably crossed paths before. I picked the number 22 because in numerology it is the angel number 22 signifies that you are close to ascension into spiritual wisdom. So you should trust in your guides, your spiritual guides, and follow them through, because essentially you were here for a purpose and they won't lead you astray. So I really like that number because every time I see it, I sort of think like, okay, there's a purpose for me being here on this earth. And I hope everyone else that sees that number thinks that way too, because we all have a purpose. Going back to Miss Ruthie and the connection to that spirituality, Ruthie and I began working together at HOB school many years ago. She was a math teacher first, and I was a first-year reading teacher, so of course I was very nervous and anxious. But Ruthie always had a kind word. She was always positive and upbeat and friendly and encouraging. And it didn't matter what you looked like. You could walk in looking like this and she'd be like, "Darling, you look so beautiful today. I love your hair. What'd you do to it?" "Oh, Miss Ruthie, I didn't brush it today." "Oh, it's gorgeous. That look works for you." And that was Miss Ruthie. She was just an unbelievably kind person. And she would tell us ghost stories about the ghosts of HOB, and at one point I taught in her classroom. She went over to become the media specialist, and I taught in her classroom, so she would tell me ghost stories about the ghost in our classroom. But it was always a good time with Miss Ruthie. The kids adored her. The students loved going into the library to hear Miss Ruthie stories about old Key West or anything. I mean, it was just fabulous. She would read our tarot cards, adults of course, but she would read our tarot cards, and we'd have all kinds of fun with that. And there was never a day that I didn't look forward to going to work to see Miss Ruthie. She was the queen of beautiful clothing and really outlandish stories, and ordering Avon, because she spent, I think, a good portion of her life ordering Avon. She would bring gifts, and you would find like a Miss Ruthie gift always was like 5 bags in another bag, and you'd find this wonderful present. "Oh my gosh, Miss Ruthie, this is great. I got it at Avon, darling." But it'd always be wrapped in like 12 different bags. I think my very favorite story of Miss Ruthie is we invited her to the baby shower for my granddaughter, and she decided she wanted to contribute to the shower. So she brought, I think it was a 6-pack of beer for my husband, because she felt that it was necessary for him to have something after the shower because he put up with so much. So she brings this gigantic princess bag, and I open it, and I'm like, "Miss Ruthie, there's beer why'd you put beer in the princess bag?" Because she didn't want to get stopped on the way to our house with beer in the car. She thought the princess bag was going to throw the police off the track. So that's definitely one of my favorite Miss Ruthie stories. During Hurricane Irma, I called she and Eddie, and I said, "What are your plans? Are you guys going to evacuate?" I wanted to make sure they were going to be okay. And she hadn't had any intention of evacuating, so I said, "Well, pack your bags. I'll pick you up in the morning. We're going to North Carolina." And essentially, that's what we did. There were 3 cars, a bunch of people, a bunch of kids, a couple of animals, and Miss Ruthie and Mr. Eddie all in the car, and we made our way to North Carolina, and that's where we stayed for a month or so until we were able to get back to the Keys and get everything situated. I've always had a very, very dear, special bond with Miss Ruthie and Mr. Eddie. They are like surrogate parents to me, and I wouldn't have it any other way. and I know that they'll be with me on my run, following me, and definitely there in spirit. And I'll see you when I get back, you guys. Peace.